We want to talk to you about a series of tapes and what we do with them when we get so many we can't store or when we need the room to use them again. We have a stack of tapes here that we have to go through and pull out small sections which we call clips to show you, which we think will be good to refresh our memory in later times or later years. Have some interesting things coming up tonight. The summer of 1986 found us really busy with our cameras. In fact, we recorded some very interesting things in the way of what the law enforcement people are. Now, the state and local authorities work together in what we call the Great Marijuana Bust. In fact, the largest that had happened in Dunklin County. We recorded some of that. Jim Elliot was our guest, and let us show you some on-the-scenes photography that took place when the marijuana plants were brought out in a huge 6-bale cotton trailer and burned. Let us show you some of those clips.
This is where we were unloading the trailer to destroy the marijuana. Of course, we were doing this on a court order, since storing this amount of marijuana is almost impossible. You can see here the size of some of the plants, 2 to 4 inch diameter. Here, note the piece of string where some of the plants had grown too tall were being tied down so they wouldn't outgrow the corn, or at least be seen above the corn.
Channel 8 was there, Channel 12 was there, everybody was there, and they all gathered around this fire, right?
Yes.
Now, this is commonly what you do to get rid of the plants.
Yes. And what we did in this case is we doused the plants with diesel fuel, as we're doing here. We fired it with a propane torch. Later, we moved the ashes around to make sure that all the plants had burned. After everything had been totally destroyed and there was nothing left but residue, and of course you can see here that we had a big fire. Here is...
now, what area are we in? Is this Campbell area? All right, we've gone for this next bit of tape to a shop behind Alan Bradley's house. Alan has a very interesting hobby. He takes pieces of wood or plastic or whatever and makes duck collars. We thought you'd be interested in seeing just a portion of this.
As this piece has been turned, run through the saw, and this edge cut off, that leaves basically a flat surface with a groove. This is for the air to go in. Now, if I put a reed on this flat surface, or a tongue as you call it, made out of plastic, no air can get under it. So this edge right here must be cut off from back like this so that air can get under here and cause the reed to flutter and vibrate. Air can get under this.
Now, what's this material? Is that the
It's mylar. Mylar.
Mylar.
It's plastic
okay.
mylar, sheet mylar,
okay.
rigid, used in wrapping the stators on motors. I get this as industrial waste. Here I have one that's, we just took apart a minute ago, that has not 1 but 3 reeds. Only the bottom reed says anything. The middle reed and the top reed do nothing more than to build up confidence in the caller.
What do you mean, build up confidence in the caller?
Well, so you don't make mistakes calling.
Like get too high and
like squeals.
Oh, okay.
All duck hunters are afraid of squeals.
Okay, so this one you can blow.
Oh, yes.
And
yes.
not squeal, ever.
It's easier to tune. If you don't like that tune, you scoot the reeds in just a little bit. We should get a little bit higher pitch. But the more you scoot the reeds in, the better your chances of even 3 reeds squealing. You get a little higher?
Yeah. What does a duck like to hear, and how do you know what a duck likes to hear?
On windy days, you need them very high because a high-pitched sound carries better. Okay. On a still day, you need a good raspy sound. As opposed to...
Oh, eat your heart out, all you old duck hunters sitting out there that wish you could blow a duck call like Alan Bradley can. All right, the next bit of tape, we go out in the field again, and this time, now I had never up to this point seen a baby greyhound puppy. We're going to look at some baby greyhounds in different stages of development. It may surprise you to learn that sometimes greyhound comes in litters of 15. We're going to visit with Cathy Davis, and she's going to show us all about greyhounds. All right, here's Cathy. These are, how far have we gone now?
Well, these are 4 months old.
Okay. And you said all they have to do is run and grow.
Run and grow. We have a lure on a long cane pole and a white lure on the end of a rope. And we'll bring it out in the middle of the field here and go it in a circle, and they'll chase it in a circle. We'll let them catch it just so they can learn if they can catch it if they want to, make it more fun for them.
Okay, now this is 1 litter.
One litter.
Okay, and 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. There's 1 loner over there walking around, which is unusual. Okay, Cathy, are there any colors that are preferred, or does that matter? Does anybody breed for color?
Some owners breed for all white or all black or all brindle. It just depends. Mostly it's the throw of the dice when you breed a dog. You study the genetics, but mostly it's important to breed for racing ability more than color.
What's the next stage? Do you have more puppies, or are we going to see some training, or what? What do you suggest?
Well, we have another 40 puppies out there that are older, born in April.
Another 40?
March, April, and May.
Okay, now what's this 40 all doing?
We have a bigger pasture out there that they run in every day.
All right.
This dog here is 15 months old. He'll be leaving next week to go to Oklahoma for 4 months, where he'll be trained to run in a circle and chase an artificial lure. And once he learns that, then he's ready for the dog track.
Okay, now who's the handler?
The handler's name is Jimmy Grills, and he's been with us 4 years. Okay. And he's my dog handler here. And the dog he's holding's name is Jimmy Grills. We named a dog after him this
And so when we walked around here, and she said, "Which dog are you going to get?" He said, "I'll get Jimmy." And she laughed and said, "I knew he would. He's getting the dog that's his name." That's a pretty dog.
He's spoiled rotten. He's a baby. He just likes to be loved.
All right. Now, what do you teach them here?
We teach them to walk on a leash, which they don't like to do. They just like to run free. And we have to teach them to wear the muzzle, because they'll have to wear that in a race.
Okay, so now, walking on a leash, how will he do? Jimmy, can you do that? Can you demonstrate what? Okay, how does he train him to do that?
When they're little puppies, when they're 4 months, is when we try to leash break them. They'll back up on you. They'll just drag their feet, and you just have to insist that they walk on the leash.
Okay.
He's pretty.
You remember that tape? That was an interesting bit to go to a Greyhound farm. The next thing we have here is also a visit. This was a visit with a young lady who is still in high school. She has a very interesting hobby, and that hobby includes raising ferrets. These ferrets happen to be for sale. She's ready to get out of the business, and we go and visit, and she talks with us about the ferrets. Can I touch?
Oh,
Can
sure.
I pet? This one doesn't mind me?
No.
Okay, now they're not like a kitten. Okay, now, they're made for going down in holes,
yeah.
aren't they? Okay, now would they go down and catch a mole?
Well, in Europe they use them for hunting. Now it's illegal in the United States.
Okay, hunting what?
Rabbits. They flush rabbits out of their holes.
Oh, they just turn them loose?
That's right.
Well, how do they get them back?
Well, the ferrets are not supposed to kill the rabbit in the hole. They actually the people put the net over the hole, and then the ferrets run them out in the net. But a lot of times the ferrets will kill the rabbit in the hole and eat them and then fall asleep, so you have to wait them out.
Females are always that much bigger.
Yeah.
Now, how long does it take them to have kids?
It takes them from 35 to 45 days. Another one, this is a albino.
An albino?
Yeah, she's more temperamental.
Okay, now, where did you get hers? Oh, yeah. She's more temperamental.
She's more unpredictable than those two. She was just...
what do you mean by unpredictable? Will
well,
she nip you every
sometimes. Every now and then. You have to watch her.
Okay, now
but
she has the pink eyes.
Yes, like an albino.
Okay, now, if you were to go to buy a ferret at a pet shop, what's the going price for a ferret?
It depends on where you go. Now, if it's like a town pet shop, you can get them from like $45 to $50. But if you're going to Memphis or Cape, you can get them from $75 to $100, sometimes $150.
You would not buy these as pets for a child, necessarily.
No, because a lot of times a child will, like a small child will eat food, and then get it around their mouth. And then they'll come and play with a ferret. the ferret will come up, and not meaning any harm or anything, but it'll come up and, you know, lick the face, lick the food off, and finally start nibbling, and it won't stop.
Bite.
Right,
If
right.
he smells, if he would
That's
smell.
yeah.
So you would not recommend these for just... For our next clip, we had as our guest a new prosecuting attorney for Dunklin County. His name was Perry Rhew, and let us show you a bit of the first interview with him. Let me introduce you to a special guest we have tonight. We have a new prosecuting attorney in Kennett, in Dunklin County, I should say, and his name is Perry Rhew, and he is certainly no stranger to everybody in this Kennett area, and been our guest several times. Very good to welcome you to the show.
Awfully glad to be here.
Is this a big hat you're wearing?
Well, it really is. I was anticipating this, of course, all during the campaign and having been the assistant prosecutor, but there really is a big difference between the responsibility you feel for having the office of prosecutor and being the assistant.
All right. Now, I know from talking with Mark Phelps that the office of prosecuting attorney is busy. You know, I think you say either most people think you're in court or you're just sitting in the office twiddling your thumbs.
Right.
That's not true.
That's not the least bit true. Our office is so much more varied than the public seems to realize.
Okay, tell me some sort of things.
Okay, we take such a much more active interest in things besides just criminal prosecution. Obviously, it's very, very important to us to prosecute criminal cases, the felonies, the misdemeanors that come up.
Okay, now tell me the difference. I can't keep those straight.
Last year, we filed roughly 2,000 charges overall. A lot of them felonies, a lot of them misdemeanors, a lot of them traffic tickets. A felony is something that carries a possibility of time in the penitentiary. It can run from a Class A felony, which carries 10 years to life, or it can go all the way down to a Class D felony, for which you can get time in the pen, or maybe time in the county jail or probation. And lastly tonight, two people who were chosen by the community for years of service for Hearts of Gold. We have Betty Jane Robinson and Leonard Younger, 100 years of service between them. Watch the interview.
Mr. Younger, on behalf of Edward D. Jones and Company, I'd like to present you with the Heart of Gold plaque for 1986 and tell you how much we appreciate the contributions you've made to our community.
Thank you.
Thank you. Betty Jane, I too, on behalf of Edward D. Jones and Company, would like to present you with our 1986 Heart of Gold Award and thank you on behalf of the community for the many things that you've done.
Betty Jane, how many years have you lived in Kennett? Have you lived in Kennett all your life?
All my life. I'll have to reveal my age.
All right, don't do it, but over 40.
Over 40. Over 40 years.
Okay,
Yeah.
you have lived in Kennett all your life.
That's right.
All right, Mr. Younger, what about you?
I've been here 47 years. I not live here in Kennett, but I've been going to church here in Kennett for 46 years.
Okay.
And I work here in this community all of the time that I've been here.
All right.
Yes.
So we're talking between the two of you a great number of years of service to this community.
Say about 100.
About 100. I wasn't going to say that, but if she did, it's all right.